Hello everyone, welcome back to A Tryst with Destiny. In the last class, I have given an introduction to the speech, and I hope that everyone has gone through it. In the textbook, in page number 31, you can see an introduction to Jawaharlal Nehru, where Jawaharlal Nehru is introduced as a visionary. Visionary is a person who has the ability to think about or plan the future in an intelligent and imaginative manner. So he is described as a visionary. I will just read through the introduction. Jawaharlal Nehru, 1889 to 1964, a visionary and a great freedom fighter, was the first Prime Minister of independent India. He steered the destiny of India for the first 17 years of its independence until his death in 1964. He was the Prime Minister of India for the first 17 years. The only son of Motilal Nehru and Swarup Rani, Nehru was born in Allahabad in 1889, had his education at Harrow and Cambridge. Harrow is a famous public school in London, and Cambridge, the famous university. After spending 7 years in England, he returned to India. Inspired by Gandhi, he joined the Indian National Congress. He spent several years in prison during the freedom struggle. Nehru is considered the chief architect of modern India. An agnostic. Agnostic means a person who is not sure about the presence of God. He had a great scientific temperament. He always championed the cause of democracy, socialism, and non alignment. Non alignment means without camping on any side. He also believed in the equitable distribution of wealth and worked for communal harmony. His works include letters from a father to his daughter, glimpses of world history, an autobiography, and discovery of India. A visionary and a voracious reader of history, geography, philosophy, his writings are pregnant means having a lot of information inside it with age old wisdom. His style, which is mostly simple and lucid, becomes at times poetic and aphoristic. Aphoristic means it can be quotable, touching upon the realm of philosophy. And now coming to this particular speech, A Tryst with Destiny. A Tryst with Destiny, one of the greatest speeches of the world, was made to the Constituent Assembly on the eve of India's independence. In the speech that embodies the essence and spirit of India, as visualized by our greatest leaders, Nehru spells out his clear vision of independent India, full of allusions, references to the great history of this nation, the ideals of the father of the nation, Gandhi, and the partition of India and its pangs, pains. The speech promises that the independent India will bring freedom and opportunity to common man, to the peasants and workers of India, to fight and end poverty and ignorance and disease. At the global level, India will strive for furthering peace, freedom, and democracy. The phrase tryst with destiny was inspired by Franklin D. Roosevelt's famous Democratic National Convention speech of 1936, Rendezvous with the Destiny. So I just read through it. You can read it uh, at home. Now, welcome back. Hope you have watched the video of the original speech I shared. Now, let us move on to the chapter. As I told you in the last class, tryst means appointment. So, the phrase means an appointment with the destiny or fate. Nehru means that India's freedom was actually an appointment with the destiny or fate. The title was actually inspired by Franklin D. Roosevelt's Democratic National Convention speech of 1936, Rendezvous with Destiny. See the pronunciation. Uh, Rendezvous means a meeting place, often a secret meeting place at an agreed time and place. A meeting at an agreed time and place. Rendezvous also means a particular place of meeting. It is pronounced as rendezvous. Rendezvous. Now let us move on to the text. Mhm. Nehru says that long years ago we made a tryst with destiny. We made an appointment with the fate. We decided to have a meeting at a particular place. And now the time comes when we shall redeem. Redeem means fulfill our pledge, our oath, not wholly or in full measure, but very substantially, of considerable importance. So, long back in the history, we decided to meet at this particular place where we got our freedom, and we are going to fulfill our pledge, not completely, but to a substantial degree, to a considerable importance. At the stroke of midnight hour, see the poetic quality of this passage. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. Description of India's freedom, in description of how India wins freedom. A moment comes, which comes but rarely in the history. It is very rare in the history when we step out from the old to the new, when an age ends, and when the soul of a nation, long suppressed, finds utterance. That means our nation was suppressed for a very long time. Our nation was unable to speak, but now nation gets its freedom to speak, utterance. It is fitting, it is suitable that at this solemn, serious moment we take the pledge of dedication to the service of India and her people, and to still larger cause of humanity. Now we are taking a pledge not only to the service of India but for humanity. At the dawn of history, India started on her unending quest. Unending means a continuing search. From the very beginning of history itself, India started the search for freedom. And the trackless centuries, which are filled with her striving and grandeur of her success and her failures. So, all through the history was filled with trackless centuries. Trackless means without any specific path. Trackless centuries. Centuries are filled with her striving, her effort, and grandeur. Grandeur means grand and impressive. Impressiveness of her success and failures. There were successes and failures in India all through the history. Through good and ill fortune, through good and ill fortune alike, she has never lost sight of that quest or forgotten the ideals which gave her strength. So, all through fortunes, ill fortunes, and good fortunes, India never lost the quest, the search, or India has never forgotten the ideals which gave her strength. We end today a period of ill fortune, and India discovers again. And now all hardships are coming to an end. Now we are earning freedom. That period of ill fortune is ending, and India is discovering herself. The achievement we celebrate today is but a step, an opening of opportunity to greater triumphs and achievements that have. This is only a beginning. We are only moving towards greater triumphs, greater successes, and achievements which are awaiting us. Are we brave enough and wise enough to grasp this opportunity and accept the challenge of the future? So, Nehru asks us that, are you strong enough to face the challenge? And continuing, Freedom and power brings responsibility. It's a very quotable sentence. Freedom and power brings responsibility. The responsibility rests upon this assembly, this constituent assembly. A sovereign body. Sovereign means having power. A body having power. A sovereign body representing the sovereign people of India. So the responsibility is lying with the constituent assembly. Before the birth of freedom, we have endured, we have suffered all the pains of labor, that is the birth pain, and our hearts are heavy with the memory of this sorrow. So all our heart is full of sorrow. The freedom was not easy. We suffered pains of labor, we suffered birth pain, and some of those pains continue even now. So it was a reference about the partition. The problems were continuing when the speech was done. So some of the pains continue even now. Nevertheless, in spite of that, the past is over, and in the future, it is the future that beckons us to. Now, beckons means call with our hand. So that future is not one of ease or resting, but of incessant striving. So Nehru reminds us that the future is not easy. It will be full of incessant, continuous effort, striving, so that we may fulfill the pledges we have so often taken and the one we shall take today. So we have taken so many pledges in the past, and now we are taking a pledge today. So it will not be so easy to fulfill all those. The service of India means the service of millions of people who suffer. It means the ending of poverty and ignorance and disease and equality of opportunity. So, what do you mean by service of India? The service of India means service of millions of people who suffer. It means ending of poverty and ignorance and disease and equality of opportunity. So, I am stopping here just to read through the whole. So far, we have covered using the video. Thank you.